From scorecard slip-ups to towels on the grass, from practice swing blunders to fans dialing in penalties from their living rooms, golfers have been disqualified in ways that are shocking, hilarious, and downright heartbreaking. In this video, we're counting down the dumbest ways golfers got disqualified. Let's start with a moment that shook the golfing world and still stands as one of the dumbest disqualifications in sports history. Number 16. Sam Horsfield. At the 2025 Open Championship final qualifying at West Lancashire Golf Club, Sam Horsfield, a 28-year-old Englishman with 3 DP World Tour victories and a LIV golf contract, was in the mix for one of the coveted 5 spots at Royal Portrush. But as others fought to go low, Horsfield's round quickly unraveled. After a disastrous 7 over par 43 on the front 9, something snapped. Instead of regrouping, he vanished. No official notice, no word to the marshals, and no message to his playing partners. Horsfield simply walked off the course mid-round, triggering an automatic disqualification by the R&A. His silent exit left both officials and competitors bewildered. He later explained on Instagram that a bad night's sleep and feeling completely dizzy led to his decision, but the damage was done. In golf, disappearing without a word under pressure is never the right play. But if you think a player disqualifying himself is strange, wait until you hear about a rookie whose major championship dreams were shattered by someone else entirely. Number 15. Pelaez Trevino.
Okay, Anna, now why did you want to come to South Carolina to play golf?
The facilities and the golf courses are awesome, and I believe in this team and my coach.
In a sport where the margin for error is razor thin, Pelaez Trevino found herself disqualified from the 2024 AIG Women's Open due to a mistake made by no one else but her caddy. The LPGA rookie was playing solid, steady golf at St. Andrews, comfortably on track to make the cut. But on the 10th hole, disaster struck. Her caddy, unknowingly breaking one of the tournament's most critical rules, pulled out a rangefinder. In most LPGA events, that's fine. But not here. Not at a major. At the AIG Women's Open, rangefinders are banned. The first violation was penalized with 2 strokes, painful but manageable. But on the 18th hole, the caddy did it again. A second offense, and Trevino was done. Automatic disqualification. The worst part? Trevino had no chance to defend herself. Her caddy's mistake, not her own, ended her tournament in an instant. What made the situation even worse was the confusion. While rangefinders are allowed at the Women's PGA Championship and many other LPGA stops, the AIG Women's Open follows a completely different rulebook, and her team wasn't up to speed. Her team might not have been up to speed on the rules, but our next golfer was busted by a rule expert watching from thousands of miles away. His own mother. Number 14. Viktor Hovland. At the 2021 Players' Championship, Viktor Hovland had just wrapped up a solid opening round, a 2 under 70. He was heading to his car when his phone rang. It wasn't his coach or an official, it was his mom, watching back home in Norway. Her first words? "Are you going to get penalized for what happened on 15? Hovland was baffled, but his mom had spotted it. He'd moved his ball marker 1 putter head length to clear Justin Thomas's line, but when replacing it, he'd shifted it another putter head forward instead of back. Neither Hovland nor his caddy noticed, but Mom did, from 4,000 miles away. He called it in himself, and the video confirmed it. 2-stroke penalty. He missed the cut by exactly 2 shots. Golf teaches patience. Hovland learned it also teaches, never ignore Mom's call. Hovland's penalty was a simple mistake on the green, but this next guy's disqualification wasn't from a single shot, but from a career-altering decision that ignited a war between golf's rival tours. Number 13. Sergio Garcia. Sergio Garcia, the 2017 Masters champion, has always been a polarizing figure, but in 2022, he took a step that shocked the golf world. He left the PGA Tour to join Live Golf. The paycheck was massive, but the consequences, even bigger. By jumping to LIV, Garcia violated his DP World Tour membership obligations, something the tour couldn't overlook. He missed mandatory events, refused to pay fines, and basically burned every bridge on his way out. The result? He was banned from competing in DP World Tour events and declared ineligible for the Ryder Cup. But in 2024, Garcia tried to rewrite the script. He came crawling back, checkbook in hand, paying over $1 million in fines and fees to get reinstated. But even with his wallet wide open, he's still got to serve out suspensions before he can tee off again in 2025. Now, he's back in the Ryder Cup hunt, gunning for his 11th appearance. But make no mistake, Garcia's not getting a free pass. He's got to earn it, and after everything that's gone down, that Ryder Cup locker room might just feel a little colder than usual. While Garcia had years to navigate his messy exit and return, our next player had her world turned upside down in a matter of seconds by an email from a fan. Number 12, Lexi Thompson. Lexi Thompson was cruising at the 2017 ANA Inspiration, up 3 shots in the final round and just 6 holes from her second major title. Then, out of nowhere, she saw an official walking toward her on the 13th tee with news that shattered her world. The day before, during her 3rd round, she had marked and replaced her ball on a 1-foot putt, but it went back down about an inch from its original spot. Nobody noticed at the time. Not Lexi, not her partners, not the rules officials. But a TV viewer noticed, and they emailed the LPGA during Sunday's final round. Result? 4 penalty strokes, 2 for the misplacement, 2 for signing an incorrect card. In a single conversation, Thompson went from leading by 3 to trailing by 1. To her credit, she fought back, birdied the next hole, forced a playoff, and nearly eagled the 72nd hole. But she lost. A major ripped away not by her play, but by an email 24 hours late. If you think that's a brutal way to lose a major, this next story involves a similar tiny ball movement, but the controversy was so dumb it literally forced golf to change its own rules. Number 11, Dustin Johnson. The 2016 US Open at Oakmont was supposed to be Dustin Johnson's breakthrough major. He was only 2 shots back in the final round when, on the lightning-fast 5th green, disaster struck. As Johnson stood over a short par putt, his ball moved barely a millimeter. Johnson immediately called over a referee, explained he hadn't touched it, and even his playing partner Lee Westwood backed him up. The official agreed. No penalty. Johnson carried on. But 7 holes later, USGA officials blindsided him. After reviewing the video, they claimed he might have caused the movement while grounding his club. They told him to keep playing, but that his score would be reviewed later. Imagine chasing your first major, not even knowing your real score. Thankfully, Johnson held on to win by 3 shots, but the backlash was so fierce, the rule was changed in 2019. No more penalties for accidental ball movement on the green. One of the sport's dumbest controversies ended up rewriting the rulebook. Johnson was penalized for accidentally moving his ball, but let's take a look at someone who was brought down for something he did completely on purpose, right in the line of his putt. Number 10. Simon Dyson. In Shanghai at the 2013 BMW Masters, Simon Dyson looked poised for the weekend of his life. He was tied for second after 2 rounds, in contention for a career-defining victory. But on Friday's round, Dyson made a tiny, casual move that destroyed it all. After marking and cleaning his ball on the 8th green, he tapped down what looked like a spike mark in his putting line. It felt like a harmless instinct, except Rule 16-1A was merciless. You cannot touch your line of putt. A viewer called it in, officials reviewed the tape, and the verdict was brutal. 2-stroke penalty, signed wrong card, disqualification. Worse still, the tour investigated and found it wasn't a one-time mistake. Dyson was fined $30,000 and hit with a suspended 2-month ban. A single tap of the putter turned into a hammer on his reputation. Dyson's penalty came from his own hand, but for our next player, the blame fell squarely on her caddy's feet and a viewer watching from a sports bar. Number 9. Stacy Lewis. At the 2013 LPGA Founders Cup, Stacy Lewis was in the hunt after 3 strong rounds. She'd just drained a birdie on 18, walking off confident, thinking she was 2 shots back and primed for Sunday. But someone else had been watching closely. Not on the course, but on TV in a bar. During the broadcast, a caddy from another tour noticed Lewis's caddy, Travis Wilson, stepping into a fairway bunker on the 16th. His foot made a tiny bounce, which by the letter of Rule 13-4 counted as testing the sand. This was strictly forbidden. The viewer phoned it in, and Lewis was stunned when officials confronted her in the scoring tent. 2 penalty strokes. Instead of being 2 back, she was 4. The twist? She turned fury into fire, shot a final round 64, and still won. Even when the rules tried to bury her, Lewis came out on top. From a caddy's footstep to a superstar's flick of a twig, even Tiger Woods wasn't immune when the cameras zoomed in. Number 8. Tiger Woods. By 2013, Tiger Woods had lived through almost every kind of controversy, but at the BMW Championship, he found himself arguing over the definition of a wiggle. In his second round at Conway Farms, Tiger's approach flew long into the trees. Assessing his ball, he cleared loose sticks and rolled a small twig away with his club. The ball shifted ever so slightly. Tiger insisted it had only oscillated, wiggled in place, and settled back. In his mind, no penalty. But the video told another story.
Is clearly moved, so unfortunately for Tiger, not.
Rules officials said the ball had changed position and not returned to its original spot. The result was one stroke for moving it, another for not replacing it. What Tiger thought was a bogey became a quadruple bogey. Even the greatest player alive wasn't safe from the rulebook's microscope. Tiger got in trouble for moving a twig while his ball was still, but our next player made the critical mistake of touching the ground while his ball was still moving, all on his 29th birthday. Number 7. Camilo Villegas. The Tournament of Champions in Kapalua should have been a celebration. It was Camilo Villegas' 29th birthday on January 7, 2011. But the game had other ideas. On the steep 15th hole, his first chip rolled back to his feet. His second, same thing. Frustrated, he casually flicked away some loose grass in front of his divot with his club while the ball was still moving. A small gesture, barely worth a thought. But eagle-eyed TV viewers didn't miss it. By morning, rules officials handed down the verdict: violation of Rule 23(1), two-stroke penalty. And since his card had already been signed, that meant disqualification. Instead of a birthday cake, Villegas got an early trip home. Sometimes in golf, even the smallest flick can ruin the party. At least Villegas' infraction was visible to the naked eye. This next major champion was disqualified for a movement so small, it could only be seen with a high-definition, slow-motion replay. Number 6. Padraig Harrington. In Abu Dhabi, 2011, three-time major champion Padraig Harrington was riding high after an opening round 65, just one shot off the lead. It looked like another title run in the making, until a slow-motion replay ended everything. On the 7th green, Harrington marked and replaced his ball. As he lifted the coin, his fingertip brushed the ball. He checked the logo, convinced it hadn't moved. His partner saw nothing. The gallery saw nothing. But television saw everything. A viewer phoned in, and after officials replayed the footage dozens of times, they concluded the ball had shifted 3 dimples forward, 1.5 back. A penalty he didn't record meant he'd signed an incorrect card. Disqualified. Harrington's near-perfect round was undone by something smaller than a fingernail. But at least Harrington was tripped up by high-definition replays. This next golfer's downfall came from something far more obvious. Number 5. Juli Inkster. Juli Inkster, a Hall of Famer at 50 years old, was chasing the leaders at the 2010 Safeway Classic. But a backup on the 10th tee left her waiting nearly half an hour. To stay loose, she slipped a weighted donut, the kind used for practice swings, onto her 9-iron and took a few cuts. It seemed harmless, just a veteran keeping her rhythm. But the rules were clear. No training aids during a competitive round. And of course, a television viewer spotted it. Officials broke the news on the 17th hole. She was disqualified. Just like that, a weekend surge gone. A few practice swings with a donut, and Inkster's tournament hopes were toast. The next person learned the hard way that sometimes it's better to keep your hands to yourself, even when the ball is rolling right back at you. Number 4. Michelle Wie. At just 18, Michelle Wie was golf's teenage superstar, chasing another big finish at the 2008 State Farm Classic. She was in second place after 2 rounds, playing beautifully. But her tournament ended not with a missed shot, but with a reporter's observation. Back in her first round, Wie had taken a penalty drop from a water hazard. The ball was supposed to be dropped no nearer the hole than its original position, but video showed she had placed it about 2 inches closer. No one noticed at the time. Officials didn't catch it. Even Wie herself had no idea. A Sports Illustrated journalist raised the concern, the tape confirmed it, and by the end of round 2, she was disqualified because she hadn't added the 2-stroke penalty before signing her card. Her brilliant play was erased by a tiny misstep that never should have left the hazard. And while Wie's mistake was inches, this next golfer's was even smaller. but this mistake nearly ended his career. Number 3. Miguel Angel Martin. At the 2005 British Masters, Spanish veteran Miguel Angel Martin found himself in the rough, tangled among branches with barely any room to swing. To set his stance, he planted his foot on a thin sapling, just a twig compared to the trees surrounding him. It bent under his weight, and he played the shot. But golf's rules don't care about size. By standing on the sapling, Martin had technically improved his stance by altering something growing in the ground. That's a clear violation of Rule 13-2. Since he didn't add the penalty before signing his card, the punishment was automatic disqualification. Martin stated that he had not realized he was breaking any rules at the time. One unlucky stance, one bent twig, and one tournament gone. This next duo was disqualified for a mistake they made before they even hit their first shot. Number 2. Mark Rowe and Jesper Parnevik. The 2003 Open Championship at Royal St. George's delivered one of the strangest disqualifications in major history. Mark Rowe had just shot a brilliant 67 in the third round, enough to put him in serious contention. Jesper Parnevik had also played well. Both players should have been celebrating, but a paperwork slip turned it into heartbreak. They'd forgotten to exchange scorecards before starting the round, so each man ended up keeping score on the wrong card. By the time they signed, both totals were correct, but under Rule 6-6D, the cards themselves were invalid. The ruling was ruthless, both players disqualified. Rowe, who should have been in the mix for his biggest finish, was out of the tournament entirely. It was a clerical error so baffling that it forced officials to rethink procedures. In golf, sometimes you don't lose to the course, you lose to the paperwork. If you think that scorecard error was heartbreaking, wait until you hear about the time a simple clerical mistake cost our last guy the green jacket at the Masters. Number 1. Roberto De Vicenzo. The 1968 Masters should have been Roberto De Vicenzo's crowning moment. At 45, the Argentine legend shot a brilliant final round 65, enough to tie Bob Golby and force a playoff. Augusta was buzzing, history was in reach, but De Vicenzo never got that chance. This time around, it wasn't because of a bad swing, but because of a pen stroke. His playing partner, Tommy Aaron, marked down a 4 on the 17th instead of the birdie 3 De Vicenzo actually made. Roberto signed the card without catching the error, and under the rules, a higher score always stands. Instead of a playoff, Roberto was immediately disqualified, making Golby the champion. De Vicenzo's reaction became one of golf's most famous quotes, "What a stupid I am." A single number erased his shot at Masters glory. He didn't raise a fist, he did not cause a scene, he just accepted the rule and moved on with his day, with sympathy of course. In golf, the scorecard can be more dangerous than Rae's Creek. From Sam Horsfield's vanishing technique to De Vicenzo's heartbreaking scorecard, these moments prove that in golf, the real opponent isn't always the course. It is all about the rule book. Like and subscribe for more entertaining sports content like this. Click here to watch more.